Did you know that Moses and Elijah are two of the most mysterious and fascinating figures in biblical history? In religious texts, Moses and Elijah hold significant roles in Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. In Judaism, Moses is regarded as one of the greatest prophets and leaders in Jewish history. He is traditionally credited with writing the Torah, the first 5 books of the Hebrew Bible, and leading the Israelites out of slavery in Egypt. In Christianity, Moses is seen as a central figure in the Old Testament, with his life and teachings frequently referenced in the New Testament. He is considered a precursor to Jesus Christ, often paralleled with Jesus as a lawgiver and deliverer. Jesus himself referred to Moses' teachings. In Islam, Moses, known as Musa, is considered one of the major prophets. His story is extensively narrated in the Quran, where he is praised for his obedience to God and his role in delivering the Israelites from oppression in Egypt. He is regarded as a model of prophethood and leadership. In Judaism, Elijah is one of the most revered prophets, known for his fearless confrontation of idolatry and his miracles, including calling down fire from heaven. He is believed to have ascended to heaven in a whirlwind and is expected to return as a harbinger of the Messianic age. In Christianity, Elijah is considered a significant figure, often cited as one of the prophets alongside Moses. His miraculous deeds, particularly his challenge to the prophets of Baal on Mount Carmel, are recounted in the Old Testament. In the New Testament, Elijah is associated with John the Baptist, with some considering John to be a type of Elijah. In Islam, Elijah, known as Ilyas, is also considered a prophet. Although he is not as prominent in Islamic tradition as in Judaism and Christianity, his story is mentioned in the Quran, where he is depicted as a righteous servant of God who stood against idolatry and faced persecution from the people of his time. In various religious traditions, Moses and Elijah symbolize obedience to God, leadership, prophetic authority, and the fulfillment of divine promises. Their stories continue to inspire believers across different faiths. While Moses and Elijah are prominent figures in religious texts, there are some lesser-known aspects of their lives that may not be as widely discussed. Early life. Before his encounter with God at the burning bush, Moses' upbringing in the Egyptian royal court as the adopted son of Pharaoh's daughter is sometimes overlooked. This upbringing likely influenced his understanding of Egyptian culture and politics. Marriage and family. Moses' marriage to Zipporah, the daughter of Jethro, a Midianite priest, is often mentioned but not extensively explored. He had 2 sons with Zipporah, Gershom and Eleazar, whose lives and roles in Moses' journey are not extensively detailed. Humility and speech impediment. According to Jewish tradition, Moses had a speech impediment, which he overcame with divine assistance. This aspect of his character highlights his humility and reliance on God's strength. Death. The circumstances surrounding Moses' death are detailed in the Bible, but may not receive as much attention as his other feats. According to tradition, Moses died on Mount Nebo, overlooking the Promised Land after leading the Israelites for 40 years. Elijah's mentorship of Elisha. While Elijah's own miraculous deeds often take center stage, his relationship with Elisha, who became his successor, is significant. Elijah's role in mentoring and passing on his prophetic mantle to Elisha is an important aspect of his life. Vulnerability and depression. Despite his boldness in confronting the prophets of Baal, Elijah experienced moments of vulnerability and despair. After his victory on Mount Carmel, he fled from Queen Jezebel's threats and prayed for death in the wilderness, highlighting the emotional toll of his prophetic ministry. Encounters with God. Elijah's encounters with God often involve dramatic manifestations, such as the still small voice at Horeb, Mount Sinai, after the wind, earthquake, and fire. These encounters reveal deeper dimensions of Elijah's spirituality and relationship with the divine. Translation to heaven. Elijah's translation to heaven in a whirlwind is a mysterious and enigmatic event in religious texts. While his ascension is well known, the details surrounding it and its significance may be less explored. These lesser-known aspects provide additional depth to the characters of Moses and Elijah, highlighting their humanity, struggles, and spiritual journeys, alongside their remarkable deeds and divine encounters. Let's explore the backgrounds, deeds, and impacts of Moses and Elijah. Moses was born to Hebrew parents during a time when the Israelites were enslaved in Egypt. He was raised in the Egyptian royal court after being found by Pharaoh's daughter and adopted into the royal family. Fleeing Egypt after killing an Egyptian taskmaster, he encountered God at the burning bush, where he was commissioned to lead the Israelites out of bondage. Moses led the Israelites out of Egypt through miraculous events, including the 10 plagues and the parting of the Red Sea. He received the 10 Commandments and other laws from God on Mount Sinai and mediated between God and the Israelites. Moses guided the Israelites through the wilderness for 40 years, during which he provided leadership, settled disputes, and conveyed God's instructions. Impact on history. Moses is revered as a prophet, lawgiver, and leader in Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. He is credited with delivering the Israelites from slavery and establishing them as a nation under God's covenant. Moses' teachings, recorded in the Torah, Pentateuch, form the foundation of Jewish law and ethics. His story has inspired countless people throughout history, symbolizing liberation, obedience to God, and the possibility of redemption. Elijah. Background appears suddenly in the biblical narrative as a prophet during the reign of King Ahab of Israel. His background and early life are not extensively detailed, but he emerges as a fearless advocate for the worship of Yahweh amidst the prevalence of Baal worship in Israel. Elijah challenged the prophets of Baal on Mount Carmel, calling down fire from heaven to demonstrate the superiority of Yahweh. He performed numerous miracles, including raising the widow's son from the dead, multiplying oil and flour during a famine, and being fed by ravens during his period of hiding. Elijah mentored Elisha, who became his successor as a prophet. Elijah's unwavering faith and boldness in confronting idolatry made him a revered figure in Judaism and Christianity. He is seen as a model of prophetic integrity and courage, standing against the corruption of his time. Elijah's translation to heaven in a whirlwind has led to beliefs in his return, with traditions in Judaism, Christianity, and Islam anticipating his reappearance as a forerunner of the Messiah. Overall, Moses and Elijah are towering figures whose lives and actions have left an indelible mark on religious history, inspiring faith, courage, and devotion across cultures and generations. One intriguing connection between Moses and Elijah that sheds new light on their roles in religious narratives is their appearance together in the New Testament, specifically in the account of the Transfiguration. The Transfiguration is a significant event in Christian theology, where Jesus is transfigured and seen conversing with Moses and Elijah on a mountain. This event is recorded in the Synoptic Gospels, Matthew 17:1-8, Mark 9:2-8, and Luke 9:28-36. Moses represents the law, Torah, and Elijah represents the prophets, symbolizing that Jesus fulfills both the law and the prophets, Matthew 5:17. Continuity and fulfillment of prophecy. Moses and Elijah's appearance signifies the continuity between the Old Testament and the New Testament. They represent the culmination and fulfillment of the prophetic tradition, with Jesus as the ultimate fulfillment of all prophecies. Significance of the law and the prophets. The presence of Moses and Elijah emphasizes the authority of the law and the prophets in affirming Jesus' mission. They serve as witnesses to Jesus' identity and the fulfillment of God's promises. Unity of the triad. Moses, Elijah, and Jesus. The Transfiguration scene highlights the unity of Moses, Elijah, and Jesus, representing a divine confirmation of Jesus' authority and mission. It underscores the interconnectedness of the Old Testament and the New Testament, as well as the divine plan of salvation. Overall, the Transfiguration scene provides a unique perspective on Moses and Elijah's roles in affirming Jesus' identity as the Messiah and the continuity between the Old Testament and the New Testament narratives. It deepens our understanding of their significance in religious narratives and their ongoing relevance in Christianity.